Here is your General Hospital spoiler sneak peek video for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. Britt has a little fun with a nervous Jocelyn right in the middle of Bobby's when she wonders if they need to get everything out in the open. Jocelyn quietly panics, thinking Britt is about to tell her mother that Joss is a WSB agent. That is the last thing that Jocelyn needs, especially after Jack warned her that Carly can never know. Will Britt really spill Jocelyn's secret just for kicks? Or does she want to use her knowledge to get leverage over Jocelyn and Carly? After seeing her friend nearly pass out while feeling queasy, Elizabeth wonders if Portia can be pregnant. Portia really needs to think about that one. She has been a little busy of late with 2 different men, and one of them is not her husband. Portia knows she has to face facts and see what is really going on with her body, so she buys a test and waits for the results. Did she manage to make an affair baby twice in one lifetime? That's quite a feat for Portia. Tracy is about to lose her mind after receiving a jar of pickle Lila relish and learning that Monica left her house to the sister she hadn't seen in decades. Something about that just doesn't seem right, but Alexis insists there is no mistake and the will is legally binding. The rest of the assembled Qs are also stunned, but they just watch Tracy go off. Ronnie is just as shocked, but is able to handle her own with Tracy. Or so she thinks. She might want to run. Elsewhere, Tracy's great-grandson is about to make a big decision, but he seems to ask Sonny for a favor and advice. Is Gio ready to take a step forward with Emma, who is busy telling her grandmother that she messed up big time? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here's your General Hospital recap on what happened in Port Charles today, Monday, October 6th, 2025. Curtis unexpectedly stopped by Alexis's house. He wanted to know about the new information regarding Drew's shooting. Alexis felt the police were close to making an arrest, but didn't know if Curtis was a suspect. She felt the PCPD had new evidence, which took some of the suspicion away from her. Curtis was curious why Alexis hadn't asked him if he did it. Alexis said whoever shot Drew was driven to do it, and she couldn't know whether Curtis was innocent or guilty. What she did know was that Curtis needed to get his ducks in a row to protect himself in case the police were closing in on him. Upstairs at Bobby's, Britt was surprised to find Jason in her room when she walked in after her shower. Unnerved that he could have been looking through her stuff, she pushed him out the door. He waited a bit, giving her a chance to get dressed, and knocked at the door. She demanded his copy of the key and then let him in. He said he was only there to pack up his stuff. Jason asked how she was doing after seeing Nathan and questioned why she tried to stop James from seeing his dad. Concealing a still unknown truth, Britt said she was worried Nathan wasn't ready and also felt it wouldn't be fair to throw James into that situation too quickly. She compared it to when she ran into Ben and corrected herself to say Rocco. Painting herself in a positive light, she claimed she wanted to reconnect with Rocco, but thought it would be too overwhelming for everyone to do it too quickly. Jason believed her and felt she was just trying to be considerate of James. Britt said everyone else was right anyway because James and Nathan hit it off right away. Jason said she was just putting James's needs first, just like she put Rocco's needs first, and felt it was because she was a good person. Britt asked about Monica's memorial service. They briefly talked, but he said he had to leave for the reading of the will. Downstairs at the diner, Carly was eating breakfast with Jack. She told him about Anna questioning her about the night of the shooting again, and was still worried she'd said something wrong. When Jack said he was her unimpeachable alibi, she acknowledged that she, in fact, wasn't with him the whole night. He said it didn't matter, because he wouldn't let anything happen to her, and he cutely stole a piece of bacon off her plate. Carly was happy to have Brennan in her corner, who said he'd be there until she asked him to leave. He said it didn't matter if she shot Drew because he'd cover for her anyway, but she did want him to know that she didn't shoot him. She felt she had too much to lose. They both expressed how much they cared for each other, with Carly emphasizing that he was someone she could trust and rely on. Jocelyn came back from her trip to Australia. Carly was over the moon to have her back. Joss gave a good cover story when they sat to catch up. When Carly left to take a call, Joss shared her surprise that her mom didn't know anything about Croatia yet. Brennan said Carly was never to find out. They talked about the need for Jason and Britt to keep the secret, as well as Joss remaining a student at PCU. Joss sat at the counter to catch up with Carly about Drew's shooting and whether her mom and Michael were suspects. As they were talking, Britt came up from behind and said, "Jocelyn Jax, how lovely to see you again." Joss pretended to be shocked to see Britt alive. Britt was a bit snarky to Joss and even snarkier to Carly, who made sure to let Britt know that her rent was due. In response, Britt made a veiled comment about what Carly owed her. Tracy met Martin outside at Bobby's. He informed her that Drew planned to sue for assault for throwing him out of the church while he was recovering from gunshot wounds in a wheelchair. Tracy laughed at the notion, said she escorted Drew out from a memorial service he wasn't invited to, and the lawsuit was the textbook definition of frivolous. Martin offered to make it go away for a price, or maybe even a simple apology. Tracy quickly declined that possibility and said, if Drew wanted to sue, she would see him in court. After Tracy and Martin left, Curtis met with Marshall, who was getting ready to go back out on the road with Wynton Marsalis. He shared the information he found out from Alexis about the PCPD, closing in on a suspect. Curtis was worried that they'd found the blackmail material Drew was using against Portia, which would look like a motive for either him or Portia to shoot him. Curtis assured his father that he did not shoot Drew. He wondered if the incriminating blackmail material had already been found, or if Drew even had possession of it anymore, and was concerned because Portia didn't have an alibi. Curtis wanted to know for sure what Drew had, and planned to go see him at the hospital. In Drew's room, Isaiah finished examining him to see if he incurred any damage from leaving the hospital for Monica's service. Drew sensed Isaiah was being short and curt, and asked what he ever did to him. Isaiah let him know that Stella Henry was a friend of his. Drew claimed he wasn't the one who got Stella arrested for fraud, but was the one who got the charges dropped. Drew blamed his bad reputation on Curtis spinning stories about him through Aurora. He then claimed that Curtis was no longer the good guy they used to know, but was a volatile, vindictive, and controlling jerk. To further drive his point home, he told Isaiah to look at how Curtis treated Portia. Isaiah told Drew he shouldn't be speaking for Dr. Robinson. Drew went on to claim that it was Curtis who turned on him, and, when it came to Stella, Curtis's accusations were baseless. After leaving his room, Isaiah went to see Portia in her office. Isaiah told Portia that he wanted to give them a chance at a relationship. She wanted the same, but had to let him know that, even though her marriage to Curtis was over, they had no official plans for a divorce yet. Because of that, she said she was not looking to get into a serious relationship and wanted him to decide if he could be okay with that. Wanting to see where he and Portia could go, Isaiah said he didn't want to walk away, but wanted to keep their relationship a secret for now. Portia was in complete agreement. She did not want him to get hurt, especially by her. He offered to make her dinner at his cabin later on in the week. Martin went to Drew's room to let him know about Tracy's response to the lawsuit. When Drew realized the reading of Monica's will was happening, he wanted to get out of bed to go to the Quartermains. After Drew declared that he wouldn't be cut out of his inheritance, Martin had to let him know that he wasn't in Monica's will after all. Now, regarding the Quartermains, Drew claimed he had nothing to gain, and more importantly, had nothing to lose. When Curtis arrived at the hospital, he asked Elizabeth what room Drew was in. As he turned, Isaiah was there and said they needed to get a few things straight. Elizabeth went to see Portia with information about Britt's less-than-stellar first day of work. As Portia walked to her door, she felt dizzy and stumbled. Elizabeth helped her sit to regain her bearings. Ned and Olivia were in the living room at the Quartermain mansion when Michael and Brooklyn walked in. Olivia had been campaigning the family for a pizza oven for years and wanted to order one after the house became Michael's. She reasoned that Thanksgiving was always a disaster where they ended up ordering pizza, so why didn't they just skip the drama and make their own? Ronnie arrived for the reading of the will. When Ned answered the door, he was quite surprised to hear her say she was a member of the family. Ned brought Ronnie in to introduce her to Michael, Olivia, and Brooklyn, who were all surprised and suspicious. Ronnie told them about meeting Tracy in the crypt and getting kicked off the property. She said she was contacted by Miller and Davis to attend the reading of the will. Michael asked Ronnie to tell them more about herself as they waited for the lawyer. She told them about her and Monica getting placed in an orphanage together after their parents died, and then getting separated in the foster care system. Monica was placed with Dr. Gail Adamson. She claimed that, eventually, they had a falling out and lost touch. Ronnie felt the main thing that kept her and Monica apart was that they were both really stubborn. She said Monica went on to live her life in Port Charles, and she went on to live hers in Durham. Decades passed before they reconnected, but she said Monica wrote her a letter last year, and they had been writing back and forth until Monica passed. It was difficult for Brooklyn to believe that Monica never mentioned Ronnie to anyone. Conversely, Ronnie said Monica told her all about them. She mentioned some specifics of what Monica had written about them, said Monica spoke about them in glowing terms, and was very proud of all of them. They seemed to warm to Ronnie, but Ned still had a bit of a suspicious look on his face. Ronnie was regaling them with a funny anecdote when Tracy arrived. Tracy was enraged and wanted Ronnie to leave immediately. As the tension quickly grew between the two, Alexis arrived to read the will. In her will, Monica made provisions for Yuri and the staff. She established trust funds for Jake, Danny, Scout, Wiley, Amelia, and any other children or great-grandchildren at the time of her death. To Brooklyn, Monica left her pearl necklace. To Ned, she left her classic vinyl collection. And to Olivia, she left her collection of gourmet cookware. To Veronica Bard, she left one of her oldest and most cherished possessions, which was a larger silver locket with a picture of the two of them as kids before they were separated. Tracy was pleased that Ronnie only got the locket. Her smile was short-lived, however, because she found out that Monica had left her only a jar of Pickle Lila's relish, just as her own father had done. Jason arrived. To Jason, she left Alan's favorite watch, which had been left to him by Edward. To Michael, she left her horses, her cars, and the family yacht. The ending shocker: Monica left her house to her sister Ronnie. General Hospital's Drew Kane is on the warpath. He has spent the year alienating everyone around him, including the Quartermain clan. He thought that Monica might come around and love him again one day. But now she is gone, and Drew has suffered humiliation after humiliation since her passing. However, he is not about to take things lying down. It was bad enough when Drew was kicked, or rather wheeled out, of Monica's memorial. But now he has learned that Monica left him out of his will. That is a bridge too far for Drew, who already feels slighted by his family. After all, his biological mother, Susan Moore, gave him to Betsy Frank to raise while she kept his twin brother Jason. Drew was eventually raised in the foster system and didn't know who he really was until he was a grown man in his 40s. Monica was the woman who made him feel like a part of the Q clan. Losing her has been devastating for Drew, but he has turned his pain into anger. It was ballsy of him, Cameron Matheson told Soap Opera Digest of Drew's decision to crash Monica's invite-only memorial. And obviously, it didn't go so great, but it was fueled by pain and anger and a broken heart. When Drew was shot, many fans hoped he would either be revealed not to be Drew, or at least morph back into the kinder, gentler Drew we all once loved. However, the complete opposite has happened. Drew is as nasty and vindictive as ever, perpetually seeing himself as the victim, despite all the people he has victimized since January, when this new nasty Drew came into focus. That's not happening, not as far as I can see or anytime soon, Matheson said of Drew seeing the error of his ways. It's Drew against the world, and Drew against the Quartermains, specifically. He is definitely hurt from this experience, and he's gonna go out and hurt some people, or at least manipulate them and retaliate against them. General Hospital spoilers hint that Michael Corinthos could be setting his ex-wife, Willow Tate, up as the person who shot Drew Kane. So let's talk about what fans can expect to see on the ABC soap in the next couple of days. GH spoilers suggest that Anna Devane and Chase Harrison will issue a search warrant for the Quartermain home very soon. After all, the bullets found in Drew's back came from a gun that was registered to Edward Quartermain, so it makes sense to go there as a starting point. Anna and Chase may not be able to search the premises because of an error in the warrant. off the cusp of Veronica Ronnie Bard being given the Q estate in Monica Quartermain's will, she'll read the warrant before she approves the home to be searched. Still, she'll stop Anna in her tracks when she notices that the PCPD made a mistake in the number part of the address. This will give Ronnie the authority to refuse entry. If the shooter is Michael and he's held onto the gun at the Q mansion, this may be the perfect opportunity for him to set someone else up. A certain someone who's been a thorn in his side for some time now. A certain someone who betrayed him. A certain someone who stalked his newborn daughter to the point where her mother had to take her out of town. That certain someone is his ex-wife and the mother of his 2 eldest children, Willow. She's also an easy candidate to choose, as she's unhinged right now and had a motive to shoot her ex-fiancé. Fast forward to later in the week, and Michael will shock Willow with the suggestion that he'll allow her to see the kids. This also happens to be around the same time that Anna will issue a search warrant to Elizabeth Liz Weber's home, the residence where Willow is currently residing. During the GH Weekly Preview, Anna is holding what seems to be a gun in her hand, wrapped in a white cloth. She'll immediately ask Liz to join her at the station. If the object Anna is holding is Edward's gun, Liz will not be considered a suspect, but her new roomie will. Michael's move to allow Willow a visit to Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos is coming out of left field. He'll visit his ex at Liz's home, so is this a ploy to distract Willow long enough to plant the gun used to shoot Drew? Michael is acting very calculated where Drew's shooting is concerned. He has not come forward to the police to admit he was at the scene of the crime the night Drew was shot, has happily accepted Tracy Quartermain's offer to cover for him, and is faking some sort of relationship with escort Jacinda Bracken to solidify his alibi. Michael may not have been the one to shoot Drew, or he may have. That remains to be seen. But the very fact that he'll agree to visitation, considering nothing has changed with Willow's mental health or their co-parenting relationship, seems sketchy as it is. Is this all part of a bigger plan to nail her for Drew's shooting? Or is it genuine? This all could be a red herring event, simply used to swerve fans on the real shooter, and Michael may have genuine intentions when he offers Willow the chance to spend time with Wiley and Amelia. General Hospital spoilers note that if the gun is found at Liz's place and points to Willow as the culprit, this may be another person looking to set up the unstable mom, or she may also, in fact, be the one to shoot Drew. General Hospital spoilers hint that during the week of October 6 to 10, Michael Corinthos will soften his stance on Willow Tate seeing the children. So could she end up snatching the kids upon her visit and taking off with them? Willow has had a mental health spiral since she lost custody of Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos. Everyone watched in horror as Willow had a meltdown in the courtroom, right after the judge awarded full custody to Michael. Since Willow has done a lot of things that are far out of her personality, including stalking newborn Daisy Gilmore, and even agreeing to reunite with Drew Kane, despite being exposed to his slimeball ways, if it meant getting Wiley and Amelia back. There's also a small chance she's the one who shot Drew, but this has yet to be confirmed, so fans can hold off on adding attempted murder to Willow's indiscretions. Still, could she add kidnapping to that list? Anything is possible in the land of soaps, right? Let's rewind a bit. During the GH preview for this coming week, Willow will be shocked when Michael arrives at her doorstep. Well, technically, Elizabeth Liz Baldwin's doorstep, noting he's decided to let her see the kids. As of this writing, there's no indication of why Michael's changed his mind, so it'll be interesting to see what makes him flip the switch with this. Michael has been pretty adamant about cutting his kids off from their mother, so something big is on the horizon to have Michael give Willow the green light. With that said, Willow is not thinking with a clear head and has made some bad decisions recently. Depending on how and why Michael agrees to Willow's visit, she may realize that this is her opportunity to take control of the situation and take the kids, so she doesn't need to rely on Michael's approval whenever she wants to see Wiley or Amelia. Willow's desperate not only to see her kids, but to be a real mom to them again. She was their primary and sole caretaker for months, while Michael was laid out after his firebombing accident. So to go from seeing her kids every day to never seeing them has been very difficult for the mom. Plus, she hates being under Michael's thumb in this regard. General Hospital spoilers remind fans that Willow is in a very fragile state and has made some terrible life choices in the past few months, so concocting a plan to snag her kids and head out of Port Charles for good, all while Michael has his back turned for a moment, just might be on Willow's to-do list in the days ahead. General Hospital fans were treated to a shocking development October 6th when the showrunners released the weekly ad promo for the upcoming episodes. Anna Devane, Port Charles Police Commissioner, was at Elizabeth Weber's house with a warrant. Later, with something in her hands, she asks Elizabeth to come down to the station with her. Anna has been busy lately investigating the shooting of Drew Kane and also looking into the mysterious revival and reappearance of both Britt Westbourne and Nathan West. In the new General Hospital promo, Anna showed another surprise with a dramatic new haircut that appears shorter than we're used to seeing from the longtime legacy character. Her portrayer, Finola Hughes, gave fans some insight into her change of style in 2 Instagram posts a few hours after the new promo debuted. Hughes showed off the new haircut on her Instagram, revealing she visited hairstylist Jane Matthews for the new do, which Hughes used the British slang for haircut shag. Hughes captioned the post, "Cool new shag, courtesy at Jane Edosalon XATX." Hughes's on-screen daughter, Kimberly McCulloch, said, "Coolish bish on the planet." Nazneen Contractor commented, "Obsessed." Adrian Encondo said, "Gorgeous." Laura Wright said, "You're amazing." Love. Numerous followers commented that they loved the new shag, and she looked beautiful. In a separate post, Hughes showed video of Matthews working on her hair. Hughes added a musical backdrop to the quarter-flash 80s classic, Harden My Heart, and captioned the post, "I was so excited to meet. I've been following her work for about a year and really wanted a cool shag, and Jane killed it. So excited to have a fresh new look. Jane, loved meeting you. Such a great morning. Thank you for caring so much about your clients and really listening and spending time with us. I love it." Hughes celebrated her 40th anniversary on General Hospital in April. Longtime fans of hers and her character know that the cop-turned-spy, currently turned cop again, has been known for her thick, full hair from the beginning. She reminded fans of some of her old styles recently when she shared several posts reminiscing about her friend and longtime co-star Tristan Rogers after his recent death. Hughes didn't say what prompted her to try something different with her hair, but no doubt it won't keep Anna from getting to the bottom of Drew's shooting and the numerous citizens of Port Charles who are suspects. General Hospital spoilers for Tuesday, October 7th suggest Britt Westbourne will grill Jocelyn Jacks, while Elizabeth Liz Baldwin will flat-out ask Portia Robinson if she's pregnant. At the end of the Monday, October 6th show, Portia almost fainted in her office while she and the nurse were talking about Britt's work. At first, Portia thought she could go on with her day after she caught her balance. However, after about 2 seconds, she realized she had to sit down. It sounds like Liz won't only ask her hospital colleague if she could be expecting, but she may prompt Portia to take a pregnancy test. GH spoilers for October 7th reveal that Portia's about to get some life-changing news, and all arrows are pointing to the fact that she is expecting. With that said, who's the lucky daddy to be? Isaiah Gannon or Curtis Ashford? Speaking of Britt, it sounds like she and Joss will have a confrontation of sorts during the Tuesday episode. In the show's preview, a clip reveals Britt telling Jocelyn that, "I think we need to get everything out in the open," and she sounds mighty stern about it. Britt covered for Joss when she was with Carly Spencer on the Monday show, so it sounds like the good doctor wants to lay everything out and understand why Joss is living this secret WSB agent life. Added teasers imply that Britt won't hold anything back, so Jocelyn will be in for quite a talk. Over at the PCPD, Anna Devane and Harrison Chase will present a united front when it comes to executing a search warrant. Could this be the very search warrant profiled in the GH Weekly preview? It looks like Liz's home is going to be searched by the police, so this might start to unravel during the October 7th episode. Speaking of Anna, she'll have a conversation with her granddaughter, Emma Drake Scorpio. The young girl will feel as if she ruined everything. So what exactly does Emma regret? Could it be that kiss she shared with Giovanni, Gio Palmieri? That remains to be seen, but Gio will also be on Tuesday's show. as he makes a major decision that will impact others in his orbit. Gio is shown during the GH preview for tomorrow, asking for a favor from someone unknown, but it's likely his granddad, Sonny Corinthos, as the background appears to be the boxing gym. In other Sonny news, Alexis Davis will issue him a warning. So will she give him the same heads up about Drew Kane's shooting and where the police are at, as she did Curtis Ashford during the October 6th episode? Meanwhile, Sonny will also have some flirty time with Ada Justine Turner. So fans who want to see these two solidify a romance will enjoy the mob boss and assistant district attorney spar in the best way possible. Finally, Tracy Quartermain's meltdown from the October 6th episode will continue into Tuesday's show. Tracy, along with the rest of the Qs, found out that Monica Quartermain gave the mansion to her long-lost sister, Veronica Ronnie Bard, at the end of Monica's will reading. As Alexis read out loud that Ronnie was getting the house, everyone had a shocked look on their faces, including Tracy, and Ronnie as well. During a preview for tomorrow's show, Tracy can be seen telling Alexis that Ronnie will get the house over her dead body. General Hospital spoilers imply that something smells rather fishy where Monica's will is concerned, so fans will need to continue to watch the ABC soap to see what happens next with this storyline. General Hospital recaps for Monday, October 6th. Note that Monica Quartermain gifted the Q mansion to Veronica Ronnie Bard in her will, while Britt Westbourne had an intense and unexpected encounter with Jocelyn Jacks and Carly Spencer. It was an explosive day in the land of Port Charles, so let's start at the beginning. Britt was in her bathrobe and towel after a shower as she entered her room, only to find Jason Morgan unexpectedly there. Britt was annoyed that he hadn't given her a heads up about coming by at first, rushed him out of the room, but eventually let him back in. During their chat, Jason questioned her about why she was so apprehensive about Nathan West meeting James West the other day, as Damian Spinelli filled him in on the news. Britt made an excuse about being worried that both Nathan and James are feeling overwhelmed and having their best interests at heart, even though fans can sense there's something else going on here. With that said, Jason believed her story, went on to say what a great person she was, but then rushed off as he had to be at the Quartermain mansion for Monica's will reading. Downstairs at Bobby's, Carly and Jack Brennan were enjoying breakfast and flirting along the way. The topic of Drew Kane's shooting did come up, and while Carly pointed out she did not shoot Drew, she did note that he was her alibi, even though they weren't together the entire night. Jack fluffed that off and assured Carly he'd protect her at all costs. Joss flies into the diner, and Carly beams with excitement. She is happy her daughter is finally home from Australia. Of course, the young WSB agent lies her pants off to her mom about her Australian adventure, even though fans know she was on a WSB mission. Carly rushes to the back of Bobby's to get Joss something to eat, while Joss and Brennan talk about the mission that went awry. Joss is back at her PCU post as a dotting student who needs to learn more about the Five Poppies lab project from the Port Charles side of things. Still, Joss is low-key worried about Jason telling her mom about her agent status, but Brennan not only assures her that he'll handle Jason, but also states that he will be interviewing Britt at some point about the work she did at the resort. When Carly returns, Brennan heads out, and the mom and daughter share some small talk. That is, until Britt comes bouncing downstairs and is quick to quip a "hello again" to Joss, who looks like a deer caught in headlights. Joss diverts Britt from spilling any Five Poppies resort beans to Carly, and Britt catches on quickly that her agent status is a secret, so Carly is still in the dark, for now. Curtis Ashford pays Alexis Davis a visit at her home upon the lawyer's request. Alexis is quick to let Curtis know that the police had called her in for questioning and had organized a follow-up meeting. However, she has since canceled that and never reorganized something. Alexis seems to believe that this is a clear sign that the police are close to charging a main suspect in mind, so she wanted to give him a fair warning in case he needed to protect himself. Curtis later met with his father, Marshall Ashford, to tell him about his chat with Alexis. Both are worried that the police may have found Drew's blackmail evidence on Portia Robinson, while Curtis made it clear that he didn't shoot Drew, that blackmail would make both him and Portia the main suspects. Curtis decides to see Drew at the hospital to see if he could get any information about the investigation out of him. Speaking of the congressman, Drew's getting checked over by Isaiah Gannon. As Drew makes small talk, Isaiah is rather cold. Drew calls him out on it, and Isaiah proceeds to tell him that what he did to Stella Henry rubbed him the wrong way. Drew then unleashed a smear campaign on how awful Curtis is, a manipulator, a backstabber, etc., etc. Drew pointed to how Curtis's treatment of Portia is a strong point of just how terrible a man he is, which had Isaiah thinking. The good doctor leaves his patient and heads for Portia's office. The two decide to resume their romance, since it's over between her and Curtis. But they also believe it's best to keep things a secret. Isaiah leaves Portia's office and bumps into Curtis at the hospital, asking to visit Drew. Isaiah stops him, and it almost feels as if these two will have a confrontation during the Tuesday, October 7th episode. Over at Bobby's patio, Tracy Quartermain meets with Martin Gray. He serves her with a lawsuit for assaulting Drew when she threw him out of Monica's memorial. He offers to drop things if she apologizes to her nephew, but she refuses. She heads out to the will reading at the Q Mansion, while Martin visits Drew. The lawyer tells his client that he's not only served Tracy with her lawsuit papers, but that Monica did not include him in her will. Drew finally acknowledges that the only mother he's ever known didn't want to have anything to do with him prior to her passing. Over at the Q Mansion, everyone's gathered for the will reading, but Tracy and Jason. Ned Quartermain is surprised when he opens the door to someone unexpected, Ronnie Bard. Ronnie introduces herself to everyone and explains her and Monica's story. In fact, she has everyone in stitches when Tracy arrives, which rubs Tracy the wrong way. As soon as Alexis arrives, they all get down to business. Jason arrives a little late, but learns he's inherited Alan Quartermain's beloved watch, while Olivia Falconier gets Monica's classic gourmet cookware set. Ned gets her classic vinyl collection, while Ronnie gets a necklace that has a photo of her and Monica as children. Michael Corinthos is given Monica's horses and yacht, while Tracy is given a jar of pickled lila relish, the very same item Edward Quartermain gave Tracy when he cut her out of his will. All Monica's grandchildren and great-grandchildren under adult age are given trusts, all who were born prior to Monica's passing. Olivia points out to Michael that this will include Daisy Gilmore. Alexis notes that Monica grants the Quartermain mansion and estate to the cherished sister of my heart, and then reads out Ronnie's name, much to the shock of everyone, including Ronnie. Lastly, Elizabeth Liz Baldwin arrives at Portia's office to hand her some paperwork surrounding Britt's performance in the lab. As Portia's ready to leave, she feels like she's going to faint but tries to brush it off. Despite doing this, Portia needs to sit down before she can do anything else, much to Liz's concern. General Hospital spoilers indicate that all arrows are pointing to the fact that Portia's unsteadiness might be about a bun in the oven and a "Who's your daddy?" storyline brewing. The General Hospital storyline transcript reveals a haunting, high-stakes drama centered on Jason Morgan's investigation into the suspicious circumstances surrounding Monica Quartermain's will and the sudden arrival of Ronnie Bard, a woman claiming to be Monica's long-lost sister. What begins as quiet uncertainty for Jason evolves into a dark and intricate web of deception, identity manipulation, and emotional warfare. Jason's instincts, honed through years of navigating betrayal, tell him something is deeply wrong. His investigation exposes forged DNA results, fake documents, and a fabricated personal history, proving Ronnie's connection to the Quartermains is a lie. Yet his silence enables Ronnie to tighten her grip on the estate and rewrite the family's legacy from within. This inner conflict between loyalty and truth becomes the emotional core of Jason's arc. Meanwhile, Ronnie's rise is methodical and chilling. She replaces longtime staff with her own people, restructures the family foundation, and inserts her name into every aspect of Monica's legacy. Her demeanor mirrors Monica's so closely that it unnerves everyone around her. Her tone, gestures, and even her expressions feel rehearsed, as though she's performing Monica's spirit rather than honoring it. Ronnie doesn't just claim Monica's inheritance, she claims her identity. Jason attempts to contain the situation by negotiating a fragile alliance. He agrees to publicly acknowledge Ronnie's legitimacy in exchange for shared oversight of Monica's charitable foundations. But what begins as a calculated compromise soon turns into surrender. Ronnie uses the partnership to further legitimize her power, publicly rebranding the Quartermain dynasty under her own name and transforming Monica's memory into her personal mythology. As Ronnie's influence spreads through Port Charles's medical, social, and political circles, Jason's silence becomes its own form of complicity. His restraint, meant to protect the family, ultimately empowers the very threat he sought to control. The Quartermain mansion, once a symbol of family resilience, becomes a psychological battlefield. Distrust spreads, alliances crumble, and the family's identity fractures under Ronnie's control. Thematically, the narrative explores identity, legacy, and the corrosive power of silence. Ronnie weaponizes identity by imitating Monica's speech, rewriting records, and reshaping history to turn deception into legitimacy. Jason's internal battle illustrates how silence, even born of love or fear, can become the most dangerous form of participation. Through legal loopholes, psychological manipulation, and public image control, Ronnie institutionalizes her deception, turning lies into accepted truth. By the end, the story takes on a haunting tone. Ronnie's control over the Quartermain legacy is complete. Her portrait now replaces Monica's in the mansion's grand hall, a symbolic coronation of her manufactured identity. Jason, burdened by guilt and paralyzed by the fear of destroying what remains of Monica's reputation, becomes a tragic figure. His silence, once meant to preserve peace, has allowed madness to thrive. The arc stands as both a family thriller and a psychological allegory. It depicts how power can be seized not only through violence or money, but through narrative control, how rewriting history can be the most insidious form of conquest. In a twist that will be forever etched in the annals of General Hospital history, Port Charles was left reeling after Dr. Britt Westbourne exposed a deception of unparalleled cruelty. The man believed to be a miraculously resurrected Nathan West was unmasked, revealing the sinister face of his half-brother and presumed dead murderer, Peter August. From the moment the man claiming to be Nathan arrived at GH, Britt was plagued by suspicion. While her mother, Liesl Obrecht, and Nathan's widow, Maxie Jones, were overwhelmed with joyous disbelief, Britt's instincts screamed that something was fundamentally wrong. The man in the hospital bed was an imposter, and she was determined to prove it. The warning signs were subtle but damning. He skillfully deflected questions from PCPD colleagues about shared cases, blaming a foggy memory from his 7-year absence. His eagerness to meet his son, James, a moment that should have been touching, felt rehearsed and manipulative. To Britt, he wasn't a father reconnecting with his child. He was an actor playing a part. The tension culminated in a dramatic confrontation at his bedside. As Nina Reeves, Willow Tate, and Dante Falconeri gathered for a family reunion, Britt saw her chance. With a surge of adrenaline, she lunged forward and tore at the man's face. The room fell silent as what appeared to be skin peeled away, revealing an incredibly sophisticated prosthetic mask. When it fell, the horrifying truth was exposed. Peter August had returned. The revelation sent shockwaves of devastation through the room. Nina, who had just welcomed her brother back from the dead, stood frozen in horror. Before anyone could react, Peter's survival instincts took over. His charade shattered. He bolted from the bed, pushing past the stunned onlookers and making a desperate escape into the night. His flight confirmed this was no miracle, but a calculated plot orchestrated by one of Port Charles's most depraved villains. By assuming Nathan's identity, Peter had gained unfettered access to Maxie and James, positioning himself to manipulate the family he has always dangerously coveted. The complexity of the ruse, from the lifelike mask to the falsified DNA and fingerprint records that initially confirmed his identity, suggests a conspiracy far deeper than anyone imagined. As the city grapples with this profound betrayal, numerous questions remain. Who helped Peter orchestrate such an elaborate scheme? And what is his ultimate endgame for Maxie and James? One thing is certain, with his cover blown, a cornered Peter August is more dangerous than ever, and this nightmare is far from over. Port Charles Powder Keg. A dark return and shattered secrets rock GH. Welcome back, General Hospital fans. Get ready for a week of explosive drama in Port Charles starting October 6th, where long-buried secrets detonate and a shocking return threatens to tear the town apart. The tension ignites when Harrison Chase and Anna Devane execute a high-stakes search warrant at the Quartermain estate. Their target, an antique pistol from Edward Quartermain's collection, believed to be the weapon used in Drew Kane's shooting. The raid sends Willow Tate into an emotional tailspin, terrified that her connection to that fateful night will finally be exposed. As she unravels, her husband, Michael Corinthos, closes in, demanding answers and threatening to shatter their fragile family life if she doesn't confess the truth. Meanwhile, the Quartermain mansion becomes a battleground for inheritance. Following the reading of Monica's will, a mysterious newcomer, Veronica Ronnie Bard, has seized control of the estate, leaving everyone stunned. A suspicious Alexis Davis immediately puts Sonny Corinthos on high alert, warning him not to trust Ronnie's enigmatic charm. Alexis smells a rat, and her sights are set on attorney Martin Gray, whom she suspects of orchestrating a massive fraud to usurp the Quartermain legacy. In other shocking developments, Portia Robinson receives life-altering news. She's pregnant. This unexpected revelation promises to send shockwaves through her already rocky relationship with Curtis Ashford, forcing them to confront their future amidst mounting personal and professional pressures. But the week's most seismic event is the return of Nathan West. Resurfacing after a devastating car crash, he is not the hero Port Charles remembers. Afflicted with amnesia, Nathan now displays the sinister, calculated cunning of his infamous father, Cesar Faison. Whispers suggest that during his lost years, he was subjected to torturous experiments that have twisted him into a potential villain. His mother, Liesl Obrecht, is horrified as she recognizes the predatory glint in her son's eyes, while his half-sister, Britt Westbourne, prepares for a blistering confrontation. The return is especially dire for Maxie Jones, who lies vulnerable in a coma, completely unaware that the man she mourned for years may have returned as her greatest enemy. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.